Welcome to the Fantasy Happy Hour. Fantasy Happy Hour. Presented by Sportsneak. With your hosts, Justin Sauce and Terry Licious. Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Boom. What an intro. Let's go. This is the nice episode 69. Nice. Fantasy Happy Hour Monday nighter. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Chicago Bears in what is going to be a barn burner of a game. As Taryn just pointed out before the camera started rolling here, it is 39.5, correct?
I think it was 39 flat.
39 flat. One of the lowest totals that Taryn's ever seen on the sport books. I've seen like 3 or 4 in hockey, but different sports. So with that being said, let's jump into this beautiful Monday nighter. Taryn, what do you got cooking for us?
Well, this should be a bit of a defensive grind out game. Maybe we'll see that burst game like we did in the Thursday night, or what a game that turned out to be. Although it was a blowout, it was a lot of offense, which was great. I mean, Mike White got the disappointing news of hurting himself early, but this time we got Fields taking on Ben. Ben is announced to play. Last week the Steelers grinded that out with their defense. I think it was 15-9 or 15, something like that. But their defense played really, really well. And then the Bears got beat on the ground primarily by Mitchell and then Deebo Samuel, who's on pace to, I think he broke the record in 49ers era for most receiving yards through 7 games. But Fields' legs came to play last week, 10 for 103 and a touchdown. So he hit a 100-yard bonus with his feet. So look to him to be like a one-off or a 2-stack, because he's not really a big passer. If you look at the Bears offense, you'll see very minimal yardage through the air, but Fields on the ground can get you there. He's kind of like that Lamar, where you can play Lamar almost by himself or with one other guy, and he's good. So we'll look to Fields there. Steelers D definitely in play this week. They kind of got outed by their coach in a presser, and then turned it on for last week's game. So they're definitely in play. Quick review of some injuries here. Damian Williams out. David Montgomery expected to be activated from the IR to come into this game. So that's big news, because he was on pace to be a very good running back this season. Khalil Herbert might still fill a bit of a role, because they may not want to boost David Montgomery straight into a full workload. So he's been really good too in the kind of backup role. Khalil Mack is out. Eric Ebron's questionable. Boswell's questionable, which makes kickers a little bit I don't know. Juju's definitely out. He's on IR. And then Roethlisberger was questionable, but announced to play. And then Darnell Mooney came onto the report with a questionable tag too. So lots of news there, but not a lot. This game, you have your weapons and you kind of go with it. So I kind of did that core 4 concept that I did in our Thursday nighter again. And I think the best captain here is Najee Harris. The guy is going to be the highest owned captain, but for good notes there, his usage is just awesome, averaging about 25 carries a game in the last 3-4 weeks. Lots of passing work too. So if they're down, he gets a lot of that work through the air. And then Mitchell last week ran, I think, for 130 yards against this Bears defense. So lots of room to run. The O-line isn't quite as good here in Pittsburgh, but I see him getting in or getting a TD either through the air or on the ground. Then I went straight over to the best receiver probably in this game, and that's Deontay Johnson. He's the kind of safety net for Ben. With Ben being kind of hurt in his pectoral, I'm going to expect those 1-yard throws to Deontay Johnson over and over and over again, like he does every time Deontay's in the game. So, leads targets. I think he had 15 or something last week, averages about 7 to 8 receptions. Like I said, he's the dump off short pass guy for Ben. And with Ben being hurt, that's all he's going to do. And that's kind of where he's good, is in the 2-second dropbacks. And then one of my favorite plays on this whole game is the backup tight end, who is now kind of the main tight end in Pittsburgh, Pat Freiermuth. Rookie drafted this year, but he's been really, really good. And not like to boom as he's not going to get you 20, 30 points, but he's going to get you that 10 to 15 quite consistently. And like I said, with Ben dropping back, 2-step drops, quick throws, you're going to expect tight ends and your short receivers to just get piles and piles of work, and your running back. So I like those 3, and I don't like Ben, which is kind of weird to say, but Ben tends to not get there. He doesn't score a lot. And with him being hurt, I expect them to lean on the run. So I didn't put Ben in this lineup, but to counterbalance it with the news of Montgomery, I just found out today I might put him here if it's possible. But I like Darnell Mooney. Mooney's become kind of the number one receiver there with the Bears. A-Rob, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know why they brought that guy in just to give him, 3-4 touches a game. Maybe he's not even, seeing that many looks. And Fields, of course, not a great throwing quarterback, much more of a runner. But Mooney seems to be the guy, or go to a tight end. And then that's where you mix and match from here. Those are the four I like, and then kind of mix it. I like Cole Kmet, the tight end for the Bears. He's kind of been the second best receiving option for Fields. And then the Steelers D I really like here. Not so much, kickers wise, I usually leave that to you. Cairo Santos looks to be a decent option here. Bears don't tend to score a lot, but they do kick quite a few field goals. I only like the Pittsburgh D here. Khalil Mack's out for the Bears D, so I just don't expect much out of them. And they haven't been great the last few weeks either. But you can dig deep and get a bit grindy with this one. Because there's, you got to look to players deeper and deeper. I think Claypool's back, so maybe that's a shot you can take. Past there on the Pittsburgh side, I don't expect many guys. Ray McLeod is usually in there, but in the Bears, you can definitely take more shots. I think there's receivers I've never even heard of playing for them a lot of times. I like David Montgomery coming back off injury too. That might be a spot to go captain because people are going to be a little scared of him. He used to get 20 to 30 looks a game quite consistently early season with the Bears. So I like that, but I'll pass it back to you, see if you got the kicker knowledge.
You know what? The Monday ones, I can't provide the kicker knowledge when we record them because there's no money out on them yet. So we're still on Saturday here. The lineups, you can reserve your entries, but you can't draft your lineup quite yet. So that's very unfortunate. So we'll keep the kicker knowledge to either our Thursday and Sundays, or maybe if we, I don't know, we're going to have to start recording this one almost on like Saturday night or Sunday mornings almost. But one thing that I'm really intrigued by that could be a little bit of a differentiator, and maybe you just do it in your odd lineup here, is taking that Steelers defense. I mean, we look at the Bears, they're ranked number 31 out of 32 teams in their scoring offense this year. So, and you look at Pittsburgh, they're on the opposite side. We got the 6th ranked defense in the league. Chicago's also letting 30 sacks so far this year. So you're looking at a couple points there at least if the trend continues. And so I'm liking the Steelers D. And then on the other side, or on the same side, again, like you kind of briefly mentioned, I'm liking Chase Claypool here. Gets the odd carry, 4 carries this year, but he's got 26 pass catches, 403 yards, 1 TD. I'm hoping he has a bit of a breakout weekend here again. Maybe we can see 2 or 3 TDs like his first game last season there where he had the 4. And again, I was in the same thought process as you, is you captain Harris, and you kind of lead all your lineups with that and then build around depending on salaries, right?
I really like naked Fields too. If you're looking to like be different, him by himself. Don't even take another guy, or him with David Montgomery. Like, he might get there and might throw 30 yards to a single receiver just because of his rushing upside. And their receivers are just not great. So you're muted for me.
Oh, sorry. There we go. If you look at Fields, he's averaging 124 yards per game, but he's got 3 touchdowns, 243 rushing yards on the 2 rushing touchdowns. So, you get that mixture of the points there. If he gets a rushing touchdown and a couple throwing TDs, great play right there. But yeah, other than that, there's not much else to really pair with. I mean, you look at the disappointment in Allen Robinson this year so far. That's been tough because normally he'd be one we'd have right up on here, right? So, but yeah, that's a good point to throw at naked Fields if you can fit him in there and make a few lineups around that. He's also throwing almost an interception per game too. So if you pair that with the defense, who could get some interesting combos there.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else to add on that one, Taryn?
No, I think this is a week that you can just be really weird with your lineup build because you could pair a defense against a quarterback quite easily in this one.
Boom. Perfect. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoy the Monday nighter here, the Monday fun day. Tune in, give us a like, give us a comment of who you're taking or what your thought processes were on this game. And if you really enjoy it, give us a subscribe. That'd be unbelievable. And we'll see you next week for episode 70. Peace.